A major ruling this week by a Miami judge reversed Miami-Dade County's decision to hold undocumented inmates at immigration agents' request.
Judge Milton Hearsts ruled that it is unconstitutional for the county to delay releasing inmates who are eligible to get out. Attorney Philip Reisenstein represented the defendant in that case, James LaCroix, a native of Haiti who was accused, pled guilty to habitual driving offenses, but he was held in the county jail for ICE, which wants to deport him. Mr. Reisenstein, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so if you would, in lay terms, describe what Judge Hearsts, who I've known for a long time, brilliant, contrarian guy, it was a gutsy ruling. What did he say?
Yes, great decision by a real judge, not a so-called judge. Courageous, but facts on the law, simple and correct. And really, this isn't a complicated case. When you boil it all down, what Judge Hearsts said was, we don't hold people in this country in jail for no reason. And that's exactly what happened here.
So what his ruling, it looked like his ruling cited, well, the 10th Amendment, separating states' powers from federal powers. But my question, and I don't want to get into legalese or anything, but isn't that sort of a civil question? And Judge Hearsts and the court hearing was a criminal proceeding. So one of the county's points was this is supposed to be a civil case for federal court. Isn't that where this decision should have been made?
I won't make it legalese. It's real simple again. I have a client who was in a criminal court in jail on a criminal case. And we had a criminal court judge who said, release him. And that's why we were able to bring this action in criminal court. And it should be clear here, we're not talking about the power of the government to deport or remove somebody. We're talking about whether Miami-Dade County is going to buckle under the threats of this president and hold someone in jail just because some federal bureaucrat signs a piece of paper and says, please help us out.
We are looking at pictures of Mr. LaCroix, who is a native of Haiti, who has a long record of driving with a suspended license or no license at all. And as I read, the Miami Herald reported that these, in fact, were felony offenses. I mean, this guy, and he pled guilty. I mean, you have to wonder, doesn't the federal government have a right to deport him if they think that he is a felon?
Sure. First of all, this was a driving offense. It was a license offense. Second of all, he was here.
But he had several of them.
He did. Yeah. He did. So do many other people. If I recall correctly, the former Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, had 2 DUIs and the President had 1.
But he was a citizen.
That's correct. This gentleman was here legally, and he was driving without a license. And again, this isn't an issue about the power of the federal government to deport him or remove him. Even though he was here as legally as a refugee from Haiti, this is about the federal government saying, hold someone in jail when there's no more reason to hold him while we decide what we want to do.
Can we just go back to something you said before?
Sure.
The reason, and for anyone who's really not following this issue, the reason initially Mayor Carlos Jimenez and eventually the whole county commission decided to honor these detainer requests was because of President Trump's threat, if you're a sanctuary city or even a whiff of a sanctuary city, we're going to withhold federal dollars. And that's what you and the court called capitulation, to honor these ICE detention requests. So are you saying that the county should go ahead and release and possibly have federal dollars withheld and then take that to court? Would that be a way around it?
You know, first of all, sanctuary cities is just a term that they made up in the president's executive order. There's no such legal definition of that, although I think, as Judge Hearsts would say, and many would agree, the United States of America is a sanctuary country. But so here's what we have, though. We have the president issuing an executive order on the 25th of January, and the next day the mayor, seeing the threats in there to withhold funding, buckling under and saying, I'm ordering the jail to keep people in jail. Now understand what the federal law is. The actual federal law says you have to cooperate with the federal government and give information. The executive order says hold them while we figure out what we want to do. Big difference.
But then there's if I could just follow up on that,
sure.
the county commission then ratified or passed that resolution 9-3. And so this is now a county local law. Does the county not have the jurisdiction to make its own laws and decide to honor those?
Well, everybody has to follow the Constitution of the United States. Shame on the county commission, shame on the mayor, because what they're saying is we're going to give in to blackmail, we're going to hold people in jail without probable cause. This is why it's a simple issue here.
In a sense, part of the irony of this case this past week, was that Mr. LaCroix was already snatched out of the jail by the time you had the hearing before Judge Hearsts, and then he ruled on Friday of this week. Where is Mr. LaCroix right now?
He's probably on his way being deported back to Haiti. And shame on the federal government for not letting this play out and not honoring the courts of the states of Florida. They have a habit of doing this.
Will the ruling of Judge Hearsts, is it binding on all the judges in the 11th Judicial Circuit, Miami-Dade County, or anywhere else?
It's not binding because we came in front of him on one defendant on one case. But what this gives is a roadmap. I've been contacted by lawyers across the country. Show us Judge Hearst's order. Show us the motion that you filed. So lawyers now across the country, and especially in Miami-Dade County, have the ability to go in front of judges and say, here's what they're doing, here's what the law is. From Justice Scalia on down, everyone's favorite conservative who said you can't force states to spend money for federal programs. This is how you do it.
As the attorney for Mr. LaCroix, you don't know why the federal government asked to hold him, do you? Whether there is a federal crime involved, their specific issues. Do you contact them? Do they give you some sort of probable cause?
They file a piece of paper that's not subject to judicial review, and that's the problem here.
So you don't know?
It's just somebody saying, I think we're going to consider removing him from the country. Do us a favor and keep him in jail while we work it out.
It's not a court warrant. A court warrant is required in Broward County, Palm Beach County, for people whom ICE wants who are undocumented, who have either bonded out or served their time.
They're doing it right. When a judge says hold somebody after reviewing something, much different circumstances.
So the county has filed a notice of an appeal.
Right.
And the appeal will be based on, as I understand it, the fact that there was this 9-3 vote by the commission and that it is a home rule county and it is a law. I mean, what do you expect to happen in the appeals court in the third district?
I always walk into court wanting to win. I'm going to walk into the 3rd District wanting to win as well. I have to see what the county writes, and then we're going to respond. I can tell you that groups like the ACLU and the Southern Poverty Law Center have offered to assist us. I've taken them up on that. When they file their brief, we'll meet them in court, and we'll continue to argue for the Constitution, because that's what this is, a simple decision of Constitution, Bill of Rights, individual rights. We don't hold people in jail for no reason. That's all this is about.
Well, we will be in whatever court it appears in, state, federal, appeals court. But Philip Reisenstein, thanks for coming in. Thanks for discussing it.
Thank you for having me.
After the break, thanks. We have a lot to talk about. You know where on today's Powerhouse Roundtable. Stay with us.